Hello, 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 everybody. Well, tonight's the night. Tonight is the series finale of Game of Thrones. Season 8, Episode 6, the final episode. I never thought that the final episode would come and I would feel so almost indifferent about it. There is a part of me that's interested to see, obviously, how this all ends, who ends up on the throne, if there is a throne, what happens to Dany. I think we all know that Dany, after last week, cannot survive and cannot proceed as the Queen of Westeros. If that were to happen, it would be the final nail in the coffin as far as D&D, dipshit and douchebag, Dumb and Dumber, whatever you want to call them, as far as their writing prowess not being up to snuff, right? I mean, they've set this character up for a downfall, so I think we're going to get a downfall. But it should be interesting, and I'm mildly interested. Mostly indifferent, but mildly interested. Is this video a prediction video? No, it is not. There are leaks out there that are, at this point, have been proven to be somewhat accurate, so I feel like making a prediction video or throwing out theories would be disingenuous. I do, however, want to talk about the cultural repercussions of this show and what it's going to be like moving forward after this terrible finale hits and what's left of the Game of Thrones fandom is completely split, if not just completely shattered. This will stick with us for a while. Game of Thrones was the most beloved show probably in the history of television. I know that's saying a lot with such greats in the past as All in the Family, Andy Griffith, MASH, the Beverly Hillbillies, Seinfeld, you know. You can list a bunch of great classic shows, mostly sitcoms, that were very beloved. But as far as quality and just being a cultural icon, I don't think that any show has had the cultural impact that Game of Thrones has had. I don't think any show has inspired as many people as Game of Thrones has. And so here we are. Now, for the last couple seasons, the downward trend had already begun, but Season 8 has hit an all-new level of low. Season 8 is unacceptable. Season 8 is unfathomable. It's not worthy. The writing is awful. The whole idea that we're going to spend 7 seasons learning to love a character like Daenerys Targaryen, learning to understand where she's coming from. She wasn't always perfect. There were many times when I felt fed up with her entitlement. And to see her become Hitler in the last episode was a slap in the face to most of us. This whole season has been, besides episode 1 and 2, this whole season has been a slap in the face to most of us. Jon Snow has been relegated to Daenerys' sidekick. He's been relegated to an idiot who won't challenge Daenerys on anything almost. I'm going to be excited to view the ratings of the show. If you look at Rotten Tomatoes, and I'm sure other sites like Internet Movie Database and other cinema-related sites that have reviews, you will notice that the ratings for this season have been abysmal. especially in comparison to previous superior seasons. Will this last episode be the worst? It could. It very well could. It has strong competition, to say the least, in the previous episode. The previous episode, for a lot of people, was the turning point. For me, it was episode 3, when they ended the Night King, ended that whole storyline, stole Jon Snow's arc away from him, stole any deeper meaning, any deeper prophecy away from Jon Snow. That, for me, was when the season took a turn for the worse. But for a lot of people, it wasn't then. It was either episode 4 or episode 5, and mostly episode 5, I'd say, at this point. Episode 5 was rough. Episode 5 felt like a kid's movie that managed a decent budget. And I mean a kid's movie in the sense of logic. Obviously, you wouldn't burn a bunch of people alive in a kid's movie. It's nonsensical for Euron Greyjoy to swim up onto the shore. He's the only one to survive after the Iron Fleet is destroyed. And he swims up on shore just as Jaime happens to be standing right there. The scorpions, or whatever they call those ballistas, they seem to be the deadliest weaponry in the Seven Kingdoms in episode 4, at least in terms of being able to kill a dragon, right? Rhaegal got shot 3 solid hits. You don't see any of them miss at that part, and he goes down. Then episode 5 comes, and the crossbows aren't getting it done. The legacy of Game of Thrones, unfortunately, will be this final season. As much as we're going to want to forget about this final season and let our memories focus on the good times of GOT, it cannot be denied that this season will be the legacy of Game of Thrones. And I honestly wonder how Dan and Dave feel about that. Did they really expect a positive reaction to Season 8? And if so, how are they so naive? And if not, how could you spend 8 years making a show and finish this way, knowing how bad it is? It's mind-blowing. And we see this kind of thing in Hollywood all the time, at least nowadays. The Last Jedi is probably the best example of just a garbage film, if you could even call it that, written by somebody who is like a new age kind of filmmaker, a hipster kind of filmmaker. Does the new generation of filmmakers not understand how to make a movie? It's like they're so intent on being different because they're hipsters that they've forgotten what it means to make a good movie or make a good show. Now, Star Wars has already been dealing with the Rian Johnson Last Jedi backlash. We saw pretty clearly what happened to Solo when Solo came out, and the Star Wars boycott was in full force. Solo was the first Star Wars movie I never saw in the movie theaters. I still haven't seen it. Now, how could you take somebody that's been a lifetime fan of something and make them feel that way about your property? You are flushing money down the drain. But now it's Game of Thrones. Now it's the show that we've all waited so long to see a conclusion for. My all-time favorite TV show, now it's Game of Thrones, has become The Last Jedi. And the ultimate irony there is that Star Wars is bringing these two into the fold to make the next Star Wars trilogy. So again, was it ignorance or was it laziness? Are these guys going to bring their A game to Star Wars? We know they can adapt material. Are there writers within the Star Wars universe, so to speak, that are going to walk Dan and Dave through this? Even though I don't care that much about Star Wars anymore, it will be interesting to see what they do. There is a petition on change.org to remake the final season of Game of Thrones, Season 8. Last I saw, that petition had over 1 million signatures. So this is a call to arms. I don't think they ever will remake Season 8. In fact, I know they won't. That's a pipe dream. It's just never going to happen. But petitions like this are the only way we as the fandom have to voice our concerns and opinions regarding a particular writing duo and what they've done to a show that we love. If you want to send a message to Hollywood that this is not the kind of story you want to be told, if you want to send a message to HBO that they better find the right guys that are going to take care in the shows that they produce and write, then you need to go to change.org and sign that petition and join the million other people that are fed up with this bullshit, that want better stories, that want plausible stories that aren't impossible to write, for fuck's sake. You know, it's not like we're asking for a fucking masterpiece, but write something that's passable. Anyway, that's it for today, guys. Try to enjoy this last episode. I'll touch base back with you after the episode, probably around 10:30, 11 o'clock tonight. And yeah, we'll hash it out. Please like and subscribe. Thank you and have a great day. Bye.